I got the 2020 iPad Pro alongside with the Magic Keyboard back in 2020, about a year and a half ago. And I've only said good things about it because this honestly is one of the best devices I've ever used. But something designed by humans is never perfect, and this holds true for all of these devices. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about only the Magic Keyboard because this has to be my favorite accessory for the iPad. Just look at it. Let's get started. Hey, I'm Solid State, and if at any point in this video you want to press the like button, feel free to do so. Okay, let's talk about number one. If you look at the sides and edges of the keyboard, you can see that the silicone material is definitely falling apart after a year and a half of use. The places where the two sides merge together are fraying, and especially in the corners, the silicone material is definitely becoming jagged and not so smooth like it was before. It is not much of an eyesore, but you can definitely feel it when you're holding the keyboard. Along the edges, the seam between the two sides are definitely opening as well. You can see the different layers are actually falling apart. This is to be expected with such a material, but it is something to be careful of, and especially if you still haven't gotten one of these keyboards or the second generation, which I assume have the same problems, then this is something to look out for. Number two is the oil problem. If you are a human and you don't wear gloves everywhere you go, then this might apply to you. I have this debrand skin applied to both sides of the case, and I think the dark gray carbon fiber material looks very nice, and it matches with the side edges, which are bulletproof banana colored. This skin definitely hides most of the oil residue that are on the sides of the Magic Keyboard. And the longer you hold it, the more apparent the residues are. These are incredibly difficult to clean off, and I've tried a lot of things. I've tried wet wipes, I have tried alcohol wipes. I definitely think using these skins to apply on the keyboard is something that brings out character and also hides the ugly part. You can also see that because on the palm rests, you can't actually apply the skin, there are definitely remnants present. Overall, the first two issues I've outlined are definitely cosmetic, but the third problem is not by any means. Let's talk about it. Whenever I put my keyboard with my iPad, there is sometimes a slight delay between when the keyboard is actually working. This is to be expected. But sometimes when you try to type during the delay, it actually bugs out the software, or as I believe. So the keyboard will no longer work, or sometimes it works in the home screen, but not in certain apps, or in this app but not the other, and it's super annoying. The solution that I've found out is to just simply restart the iPad. This is still an issue that is present even with the latest iPadOS 15 beta. Before you tell me, oh, it's just a problem with the betas. This has been a problem since forever, I think. During the first week of using this Magic Keyboard, I have experienced the issue, and it's still here. So hopefully Apple can fix this, or if it's only software-based, then great, I'm sure there is hope. But if it is not, it's a fundamental issue with this keyboard that I think you should be wary of. All right, you get the point. Let's move on to number four. I am sure that you guys all know that this doubles the weight and doubles the thickness of your iPad. But what's more important is that when you first get the device, you don't feel it. You think, oh, I can handle the extra weight. But after a few months, you definitely begin to see the issue. It's heavy, and it's not that portable. Sure, people tend to leave this on their desk plugged in, so it's like a docking system for your iPad. But you really are not taking advantage of the actual keyboard if you're just keeping it plugged in and docked. This is meant to be taken to places, and if you sacrifice that, then, it's on you. However, I do recommend you using this the way it's meant to be, in my opinion, which is carried around. This issue definitely becomes apparent when you do that, as it's heavy, and sometimes when you put it in your bag, say, I bring my laptop over here, I even have it. I bring this MacBook Pro with me to school. And sometimes when I want to bring my iPad as well, I bring it with the case. And you can definitely feel just the extra weight in your bag. One great thing about the iPad, in my opinion, is just how thin and light it is. With the keyboard, it's an issue. Definitely not a big one. But let's be honest, there are no big issues with this keyboard. If there were, Apple would have either recalled it or made a repair system for the keyboard. Since there is none, that means this is still an incredible device. And let's move on to the last point. Now, what I'm going to talk about next is definitely what concerns me most. On the keyboard, there are 3 pins, which connect to the iPad's 3 pins on the back as well. However, I've noticed that the top pin on the keyboard actually wears out over time. If you look really closely, you might be able to see that the material is scratched out. It's no longer round like before, and it's much shorter than it was when I first got it, and it's much shorter than the other 2 pins. This is because when you take off your iPad, it tends to scratch the top pin, and there's no way around it. When you run your finger along the keyboard, you definitely feel the top pin is not protruding as much as the other 2, and this makes me afraid. What if this keyboard stops working in a year? Do I have to spend another 400 Canadian dollars? If that's the case, then good on you, Apple, for keeping me hooked, because I definitely will buy a new keyboard if this breaks. But that aside, it's definitely not a good thing for longevity. So buy at your own risk. If you're debating on buying this or not, then definitely buy it. It's great. The pros definitely outweighs the con. If you already have this keyboard, here's a few things to be wary of. Oil residues are very, very difficult to clean. The edges and the corners will fray over time, but that's normal. But just try not to drop it or damage it by grazing it on the sides of your desk or other sharp objects, as that will accelerate the process. And also, if you see significant wear and tear on the top pin and you're still in warranty, you might want to contact Apple about it and see if they could do anything about this problem. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope you found it informative in the issues that I have found with the Magic Keyboard, especially the last one, which no one, to my knowledge, has actually talked about. So yeah, if this helped you, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video. Click something on the screen right now. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.